Two massive away games today that could either kind of make it unrealistic for us to finish in the Champions League this year or insert us into the title race. Hello and welcome to part 163 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have those two games I promised you in the last episode. It's our Christmas fixtures. We're spending Christmas 2037 in Manchester. Manchester City away on the 23rd, Manchester United away on Boxing Day on the 26th. We haven't played any games since you were last with us because the last episode was the two back-to-back home games against the two Liverpool teams. And now we're heading back up that way to play the two Manchester teams. So nothing has happened. We still haven't identified a new player that we want to bring in. We still have money to spend in January, and I'm still thinking a striker might be the way forward. But for today, we are bringing Taylor Flynn onto the bench just because we saw in the last episode, Jokic. We need to see if Flynn's any good. We brought him in the summer. Yes, he's 34 years old now. Turns 35 before the end of the season. But he has played nearly 100 times for England, scored 39 goals, has been a Premier League player all his career, over 100 Premier League goals. He might still have a little bit more about him than Jokic does at this stage of his career. So we're going with Vujicic in goal, a back four of Joksimovic, Brodic, Ripet and Coupler, with Wanda, Hayes and Caminero in midfield, and then Nuhu in behind Kerr and Jones. Kerr and Jones were both brilliant in their last game against Everton. The two of them combined, along with Nuhu, to just absolutely tear Everton apart. On their day, they are a very, very good front three. Their day doesn't happen often enough, though, which is why we are thinking we might need to bring in another striker in January. But with these two big away games, I mean, pre-season, as we've always said, pre-season, these are games we do expect to lose. Away games against the two dominant teams in the Premier League over the last 20 seasons, really. So we probably are going to lose them both. But imagine if we won. Wolves are top of the league at the moment. If we could win these back-to-back games against the two Manchester teams, we could be second in the league behind Wolves going into the new year, which, I mean, that would be a pretty crazy situation to be in. And the ball goes just wide from the first attack of the game for Man City. And they look like they're struggling a little bit for fitness. They've got a few players down in the 70s for conditioning already. We are a little bit fitter at the moment, it seems. Obviously, Man City will have played far more games than us already this season. They'll have been playing in the Champions League. They'll have had more of a cup run in the Carabao Cup. We have played 2 Carabao Cup games, and other than that, it has just been the league. We don't have any European football to distract us. So hopefully fitness will go in our favour. And there's Jones with a massive chance. And he should have scored. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Away from home against Manchester City, if you get an opportunity like that, you've got to be at least testing the goalkeeper. You can't be missing that wildly in that situation. They're two strikers who are very talented, bags of potential, but they are still very young and inexperienced at this level. And sometimes they just get a rush of blood to the head like that. And hopefully that's the sort of thing that Flynn will be a little bit more composed in a situation like that. So we might even have a look at him in the second half. Like I say, I've not really given him an opportunity yet. But there's Kerr, Nuhu's injured, which I'll give you the goal back if we can uninjure Nuhu, because Nuhu being injured is a major problem. But as part of the move, Kerr does tuck the ball into the back of the net. I don't know how Nuhu's picked up the injury. Is he fouled here? Would there have been a penalty otherwise? I mean, yeah, that's a tackle from behind. So if Kerr doesn't score there, then it's a penalty anyway. I would be saying send off the City player. He's just snapped Nuhu in two. Potential foot injury. We have got Erhan on the bench, so we do have a like-for-like replacement sat there. But if that's I mean, imagine a broken foot or something for Nuhu could keep him out 4 or 5 months. That's the rest of the season without Nuhu. And all of a sudden, that completely changes the transfer policy for January, because Erhan, although he's had a couple of decent moments, he's no Nuhu, he's no Twan. I wouldn't want to go through half a season with Erhan as our only proper option as an attacking midfielder. Obviously, we have still got McAllister, but he's not up at that same level. So if Nuhu's properly injured, firstly, that's a disaster. Forget all about Champions League. I don't think we can do it without Nuhu. But secondly, if he is going to be out for 2, 3, 4 months, we probably need to sign a proper replacement for him to get us through to the end of the season. See if we'll try again to bring Twan back. You never know. I don't know if he's actually played for us. He should, in theory, he's been fit again since the start of November. Fingers crossed he's not played a single game for him and they'll let him come back to us on loan in January. We've deliberately left a gap in the squad. We only have one player on loan in the shape of Rodrigo. So we do have a Twan-shaped gap in our squad. If there's any way we can get him in on loan until the end of the season, and we might desperately need him if Nuhu's properly injured. But in the midst of all that stressing out about Nuhu, Man City did equalise just before half-time, but here's Erhan with the ball forward again, and it's Jones to chase. A full of energy Jones crosses over towards Kerr, and Kerr hits the crossbar twice with one header. I mean, that's... How much closer can you get? Goodness me. We've had 2 clear-cut chances in this game now to Man City's 0, but obviously they've got the additional quality and they're probably going to score. Oh, wowzers. That looked like it crossed the line by a mile. They've now hit the crossbar as well. This is end-to-end stuff. We don't look like we're being steamrolled like we normally do in these kind of fixtures. We're also not dominating possession the way we have against just about everybody else we've played recently. Getting 60% possession has been something we've been fairly used to. So having to flip that back round the other way and try and play a game... Where's Rodrigo? Oh, Rodrigo obviously can't be on the bench because we're playing Man City. Right, that changes that substitution that I had planned. Should have put Kovacevic on the bench. I don't really want to bring on McAllister in midfield or Sretenovic in midfield against Man City. I think we'll take this opportunity to have a look at Taylor Flynn then. What type of striker are you? What type of striker are you? A false... No, I mean, for goodness sake. Did no one look this up before we bought him? He can stay as an advance forward. We'll give him 20 minutes. And really, I'm going to use this 20 minutes to decide if he's got a little bit more about him than Jokic. And use that to decide whether or not we need to buy a striker in January. But, like I say, if Nuhu's properly injured, forget buying a striker anyway. We make do with what we've got. Because attacking midfield is a much more important position in our team. Camanero's shattered and not playing very well. I think we do need to... We're going to have to bring McAllister on the right-hand side of that midfield. Missing Rodrigo today, which I guess the one advantage of him not being involved at all in this game is we could probably just start him against Man United because he's going to be completely fresh. Hayes now plays it into Erhan. What a pass from Hayes! And if Erhan's on the pitch, we're 2-1 up. If Nuhu's on the pitch, we're 2-1 up. Because that was beautiful from Hayes, but Erhan just fluffed his lines massively. It's now with Wanda to Kerr. Erhan again, and Flynn just wasn't awake. I don't know if that's just because he's old and too slow to get there, or if he's just not a goal scorer. But Charlie Jones chases that down. Flynn looked at it go past him. I mean, I think Jokic even chases that down. They're right, there's Flynn, back to goal. Can he be a little bit more impressive here? He draws the foul, and it's with Kerr. Wanda plays it into Erhan. Flynn, that's not even Flynn, that's McAllister. Right, Flynn we're done with. He's not getting into the positions we need him to get into. McAllister to Coupler, into Hayes. We've got a lot of good possession here at the moment. Wanda, back to Hayes again. Coupler's in space ahead of him, but he finds McAllister, and it's across to Wanda again. Back heel to Erhan, and it's out to Coupler, who's in space. Men in the middle, that's terrible, though. Where's the cross when we need it? But dominant header back forward from Brodic again, and a second time. Oh, my word, I think I'm in love with Brodic. He is my kind of player. Erhan now with a chance to break. And we've got 2-on-1 here, and it's Flynn in the middle. Can Erhan find him? He's drawn the penalty. That was much better from Erhan. He knew the man in the middle wasn't someone you'd want to rely on. Can he hit a penalty, though? Erhan to win the game away against Manchester City, and it's straight at their keeper. And we've got no one in the middle following up. He did so well to win the penalty, and then just bottled taking it. Again, Nuhu scores there. That's twice Nuhu wins us the game if he's on the pitch. This is what I mean. If Nuhu's properly injured, we need Twan back, and we need to just pay whatever Arsenal want for him, which admittedly was £200 million last time I asked, so we can't afford to buy him unless they've decided they don't like him. I mean, really, if they've not played him, surely we can just buy him, or at the very least loan him, help him get fit again. Kerr with the cross, and it's bobbling around in the area. I don't know what the City defender was doing there, sort of heading it back into the danger area, and Brodic has just got himself sent off, I think. Did he get away with that? Wowzers. I love Brodic even more. It'll be sickening if they score here. Right, 4 seconds on the clock. Erhan forward towards Flynn. And it's a 1-1 draw. We can't really complain, but we will complain massively if they've broken Nuhu and the player didn't even get punished for doing it. 1-1 away against Man City is one of our best performances in that kind of game for a long time, but we now need to see the damage to Nuhu. I can live with 2 weeks out. Right, now let's prepare ourselves for Man United. So just 3 days have passed and a Christmas dinner since the Man City game. So there are a few changes we're making for the United game. One of them enforced. Nuhu obviously injured. We're bringing McAllister in for Nuhu, mainly because I'm still upset with Erhan for missing the penalty. And McAllister, I've said it about him before. Good English in Kev. McAllister never lets us down. He might just pop up with a goal because that's what he likes to do. We've also put Rodrigo back into the midfield just purely because he's on 100% condition. He'll probably be the only player on either team who can say that. So he'll add some energy into the centre of midfield with Hayes dropping down to the bench. And we've also swapped out the 2 fullbacks just because there's not actually much between our first and second choices at fullback. And in the circumstances, with the 2 of them being quite tired after the Man City game, just bring on the ones who are going to be full of energy. Sretenovic, having just said they'll only be Rodrigo on 100% condition, Sretenovic is as well. So it gives the 2 of them, Sretenovic and Sanchez, the chance to get out there, run about a bit, get up and down their respective flanks. And I mean, it's an area where we need energy. We need energy in central midfield. We need energy wide. So that's where we've made the changes, and the other one is the enforced one. So hopefully they will become logical changes. Man United did pop back up to the top of the league briefly after the previous round of games, but we're the tea time kickoff on Boxing Day. So Wolves have played earlier today, won, and gone back to the top of the league again. And really, we need to be looking over our shoulder rather than looking upwards. We're on 34 points, Liverpool behind us on 32, Everton on 29, and Kieran Kerr has just scored with a minute on the clock at Old Trafford. Wasn't expecting that. I thought, you're fine, Kev. Spend a few minutes looking at the league table because you're not going to get any attacks early on. So I don't even know what the build-up is here. Sanchez into Rodrigo. What a genius I am making those 2 changes. And there's McAllister with a perfectly weighted pass into the path of Kerr. The 2 Scottish internationals join forces to grab an early lead against Manchester United. And look, they've already got a player down on 78% condition right at the start of the match. We might just beat them with fitness here. And that would be an incredible result if we did. Just keep it going. 4 minutes on the clock. Can we start whistling now? Have we been to Old Trafford and won a match yet? I mean, it's not likely to happen today either. But I'm not certain we've ever even come here and looked competitive before. So to come here and give them an early fright, grab an early goal, has got to be progress on where we've been in the past. And remember, we have kept some clean sheets recently, albeit not really, really recently. But we did go on that run of clean sheets for 4 or 5 games leading up to the last episode. Wanda plays Kerr in. Jones is in the middle. So's McAllister. Jim McAllister has made it 2-0, 5 minutes on the clock, and I think this is what's known in the phrase as inspired leadership from one Kevin Chapman. Because McAllister, none of you lot are picking McAllister in this team, you're all going with Erhan. Anyone who says they go McAllister in this situation is a liar. Kev goes McAllister, he makes one, he scores one. 5 minutes on the clock, it's Manchester United 0, Nuneaton Town 2. And yeah, we're looking back upwards again. Forget this looking over our shoulders nonsense. Liverpool who? Him? That doesn't really work, does it? Plus they beat us like 3 games ago. Kerr is in again here. The Man United defence is all over the place and Kerr fires wide from a difficult angle, but there was certainly no defensive line there for United. They had one defender pushing on with Jones and the other one trying to keep up with Kerr, and they were so far apart from each other. It was ridiculous. Kerr's in behind him again. We've got a queue of players in the middle, but Kerr can't get the cross in, and it comes to Sretenovic. Back with Caminero, who tries to slot it through to McAllister. A little bit too clever for his own good there, I think. And something ridiculous has just happened. Patrick Brodich just missed a header. I can only assume it was deliberate. It was a tactical effort on his part, because Patrick Brodich does not miss headers. That's just how he is. He's never missed a header in his life. He's not going to start now. Ripert with the dominant header forward this time. And it's Man United building again for midfield. We need to make sure that we don't get run ragged at the back the way they have been. And we'll pretend that wasn't a headed goal with Brodic marking him there, because if I've broken Brodic just by talking about him being good in the air, I mean, really, he's not completely on him. It's more his marking and positioning, as usual, which has let him down there rather than his aerial ability. But still, it's a sloppy goal to give away when we've been so dominant early on, and United come at us again. And this is the problem when we're playing against teams who are that much better than us. They can just turn it on and do this to us. And I've hit the crossbar now. 28 minutes on the clock. It could have been 2-2. And if they come back to 2-2 this early in the game, the result is only going one way at that point, because we'll just be beaten. We'll have nothing left. We gave it everything we could early on, and it still wasn't enough. Jones tries to get in behind, but the ball was a little bit too heavy for McAllister that time. He was trying to be clever, like he was for the first goal, which I have no issue with that. He was very clever for the first goal, but it is now 2-2 on half an hour, and all the good work that we did early on has been undone. I would argue, through no fault of our own, really. Man United are just a better team than we are. And I don't think there's no glaring mistake in there. You could argue Rodrigo should maybe win the ball in midfield, but he is on a yellow card. You don't want him crunching into tackles in there, because I'd rather concede a goal than go down to 10 men at this point. We just need to dig deep and remind ourselves that we're fitter than them. We've got more energy than them. Yes, we exploded into the game and they've pegged us back, but as the game goes on, their players are already down to 60% conditioning in the first half. They're only going to get tireder, and we just need to exploit that. Plus, we've got Flynn on the bench again, who is a former Manchester United player, and if he's got one more performance left in him in his career, surely he grabs a winner against Man United. Just to say to him, I wasn't too old. I still had this in me. That's what I'd be doing if I was him. I'm describing him as an old man. He's younger than I am in real life. And it's 3-2 just before half time. And this is what I'm saying. If we let them get back at us, then the momentum is only going one way. And it's Brodic again, oh my word. And after such a good start, we're still somehow going in at half time behind, because it's Man United and this is what they do to us. Hideous. Right, they've gone 4-2-4, I just noticed as well. They've switched it up again on half time, but they were really going for it for a little while there. Changing tactical shape, which I always maintain is cheating. You should just pick one tactic at the start of your save and play it all the way through, or it's cheating. But yeah, they went for two strikers for a little while. They're back down to a 4-2-3-1 now, which is what they were playing when we were ripping them apart early on. So hopefully we'll just get back to the ripping. They've had 5 clear-cut chances to our 1. What is Rodrigo doing there? My word, I don't even know what he was trying to do. Can't even get my head around what he could have been thinking. Because it wasn't even a clearance. It didn't make it as far as the touchline. Yikes. We need to change something up to get back into this game. What we need is Nuhu, but obviously we don't have him. And we're not going to have him for a couple of weeks. And it's 4. And that's really poor goalkeeping from Vujicic. And we still haven't come to Man United and kept a clean sheet. That was awful from Sretenovic as well. After all, the Kev's a tactical genius for bringing McAllister in, are we being beaten by my choice of fullbacks? Joksimovic doesn't make that mistake, and he's playing poorly. Brodic is playing poorly, and I think we take both of them off. Have we got a backup centre-back? We don't. So Brodic has to stay on, because the 2 old men from Arsenal are not even in the team, but Joksimovic needs to come on. And Rodrigo's just had a poor game as well. And you know what? We're going to make a triple substitution on the half hour. On the half hour, with half hour to go. We need to change things up, and we need to change them now. Let's see if Taylor Flynn is going to have that career-defining performance away again. It's 5-2. Oh, we were 2-0 up after 5 minutes. How has this happened? I don't understand. They're just too good for us. Oh dear. Well, let's make the changes anyway. You've got to blame. I blame Sretenovic again there. I mean, he's shown that he's. There's not much between Sretenovic and Joksimovic. There's Pastkev. Pastkev's an idiot. And Brodic, I would haul him off if I had anyone who could spell centre-back to come on for him, because this is the worst performance of his career as well. Ferguson and Deothin are both sat there in the stands, having had a lovely Christmas because they've not even had to travel. So they're not in the stands, they're at home in Nuneaton. Just watching this on telly thinking, oh, guess we've got to play New Year's Day now, one of us. Because this joker ain't staying in the team, is he? Joksimovic now took it some... Oh my goodness me. Well, that told us everything we needed to know about Taylor Flynn. We need a new striker, and that is the only thing on our shopping list as we go into January. A centre forward. That was terrible. I hope... I mean, I might just edit the video so it ends after 5 minutes so you all think I won. Because I look like an idiot now. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.